So this is going to be my first video where I share a few steps that have been recurring or I've been seeing them over the years, over teaching and learning, learning language. So I'd like to share them with you and then get a discussion going on how these points have affected your learning experience. I will be attaching a PDF where you can take notes on what you think of these points. At the end of the video, I'll talk a little bit about myself and what the plan is after this video. So I do feel like as adults that we can learn language or acquire language. And I also think that pretty much every single person can look into their vocabulary and should try to look into their vocabulary and see where they can improve. And I'll be mentioning why as we go along. Just some points to reflect on or some questions to keep in the back of your mind as you possibly watch some videos on language. Do you sometimes feel like it's too difficult of a task? You've wanted to learn a language, but you just think it's just too much, and you're focused on too many things in your life, and this is just another huge task. Do you feel like you don't have time? Do you sometimes think that, there's some things that I cannot master anymore or can't improve in because of my age? Do you think that there's a way where you can think of the benefit of the language and then that might motivate you to keep going learning the language? Do you worry that possibly like you're learning new words in your language or another language and you're not remembering them? What is going on? What are you doing that's helping you remember words, especially when you need them? And what's not helping? Do you sometimes just think about your language? Not say, I want to get better, or maybe I'm speaking in a level or in a way that other people don't understand me. Do you just sometimes reflect on how your language works? Do you ever also just think, what type of vocabulary do I have in my life? What kind of words do I use, often? Are they generally positive words that are helping my life, or could be having words that are unnecessary or maybe just acquired from other people? You haven't kind of taken control on what words you want to learn. So just some ideas to keep in the back of your mind and things that interest me as well. Finally, I am not a perfectionist myself. I love languages. I like working with it, but I don't aim for perfection in any way. I don't think anyone can have quote-unquote perfect language, but there's always room for improvement. Okay, so the first thing that would help us learn a language that I've seen over the years is having a clear intention, as in, why am I doing this? And also, how big is the value going to be in my life? Am I going to be connecting with more people, or maybe connecting better with the people that I know, or making new connections? Not sure if I mentioned that, but of course, if you speak a new language, you'll be connecting with more people. You'll also be understanding the people you know and the new people in your life. And my biggest interest in this point would be, how is it going to affect your work? Okay, so my interest when I'm working with people in improving their language is, how is it going to affect your work? For example, if you work with some sort of product or service, the more languages you speak, or the better you are in connecting with people, naturally your business will probably grow. The second recurring factor that I've seen for people that has worked over the years is having a good program and having techniques that are backed by trials, experiments, and research. You had to have some good teachers, coaches with you. Yes, there are people, and I've met many people who have learned new vocabulary on their own, and things like that. But depending on what your goal is, you can work with someone to achieve your own goals, if that makes sense. What I mean here by also like preset, semi-organized progress is that you want to wake up knowing what you're going to do to improve your language that day, or have some things that are already set up throughout your day that are sort of embedded and natural in your day, so that you don't have to actually sit down every time with a book and go through chapters and stuff in that kind of learning style. More of like, having it just be a natural part of your day, and I will be talking about that as we go along as well. Why I'm saying that it can be semi-organized progress as opposed to like learning something that's very concrete and, like I said before, in a attempt to reach perfection, is that language is kind of, it gets abstract, and it gets it's not robotic. You talk to people. We're talking, it's humans communicating, and so being a bit, flexible with people and natural, to me personally, builds more connection than someone who is speaking to me by the book. You feel like they learned language in a very systematic way. And I think that system, I'm not against a systematic way, but that can be for the whole program. So every day I'm going to be working on this, I'm going to be working on that. Yes, absolutely, should have some sort of set program, just like when you're learning any skill, but you don't want to be copying something directly from the book and that being, your sort of style. So yeah, I think these things will definitely help you progress faster. And we'll also talk about this in detail as we go along. The third point I would like to talk about quickly is what is going on around you and what is going on inside of you. Do you have the kind of environment in general, the kind of environment that is allowing you to focus enough to learn new words, new ideas, and not get frustrated as you're going along? And how do you feel about yourself as a learner? And do you have the belief that you can learn a language? Some people say, this isn't for me, or this isn't something that I possess. Well, how would you know if you haven't tried? And how would you know if you haven't tried in different ways? I feel like there's such value in this that it's worth the try. I also do believe that everybody in general does have the ability to improve